That scared the heck out of me. You were like, look, there goes one right there. Oh my goodness. He's moving. Oh, it's time to go, honey. Hey friends, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. And to all the new people, hi and welcome to A Dose of True Crime. I am AJ, and today we're going to be talking about the tragic story of Taylen Mosley. Now, this story is a case that happened not too far away from where I live, over in St. Petersburg, and it's very unfortunate how it ends. And the crazy thing is that the ending you just could not even foresee happening. It's just really, really disturbing how the story ends. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the case. So how I came across this case is actually quite random. I received an Amber Alert on my phone, and anytime I see one of those, I always click on it. So on this particular day, when I clicked on it, my heart literally sank because, you know, he's a young black kid. He's only 2 years old, and he literally reminded me of my nephew who just turned 4 yesterday. So happy birthday, boo. So I think that was tugging at the strings of my heart a little bit. When I saw it, I just really did a quick prayer, and I was like, God, please let this kid turn back home safe and sound. Right? So literally every day since that Amber Alert came out, there was an update in the case, and it wasn't a good one. It didn't sound like there was going to be a happy ending. And as I already said earlier, this case is very tragic. So let's go ahead and talk about what exactly happened. So Taylen Mosley was just a toddler. He was only 2 years old, and he was living at home with his mother at the time that he went missing. His mother, Pashun Jeffrey, lived in St. Pete in the Lincoln Shores apartments. So both Taylen and Pashun were last seen by relatives that Wednesday evening, and it was right outside of their apartment. Now later that evening, a neighbor in the building stated that they heard a lot of commotion going on from inside of Pashun's apartment, but for whatever reason, this neighbor did not contact local authorities and just kind of brushed it off as a small domestic dispute. So come Thursday, Pashun's family started to get concerned because they hadn't seen her nor heard from her all day. So a relative decided to get in contact with the apartment complex management and have them do a welfare check on her. So the apartment complex management decided to try and reach out to Pashun via phone. Now obviously the family already tried that and it didn't work. So I don't know why they tried to do the same thing that was already done, but they did anyway. And unfortunately, they too got the same results. Nothing. So after trying to contact her via phone, they physically made their way over to her apartment and they tried knocking on the door a few times. Again, nothing. So after several attempts of trying to get in contact with her through phone and, you know, knocking on the door, they forcibly made their way into the apartment. And once they got inside is unfortunately where they found the lifeless body of Pashun Jeffrey. Now, this detail that I'm about to share wasn't initially released to the public at the time that they discovered her body, but she was found stabbed several times, which again wasn't released until much later. So the detectives and police at this point had termed this to be a violent homicide. Now the other issue was that Taylen was nowhere to be found, which in turn sparked the missing persons bulletin. So Taylen was described as a black male, 2 feet tall, 30 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. And from there, they immediately issued an Amber Alert, which is the one that I received. And that was all the information that law enforcement was willing to provide to the public at that time. So as I stated earlier, there were details that were being released on a day-to-day basis regarding this crime. Now, when I say day-to-day, it didn't take long to find out the end result of this case, maybe 2 to 3 days maximum. So after they had sent out the Amber Alert, the father of Taylen Mosley was a person of interest. So their main concern was to find his father because they knew if they found Taylen's father, chances are they would find Taylen. So as this case is developing, police are trying their hardest to find Taylen and his father. They did everything from using dogs to using drones to sweep the area. Now, the one thing about Florida is that there is water everywhere. And in these waters lies a very dangerous critter, an alligator. And now you're probably sitting here wondering, why am I even talking about an alligator? And that is because, unfortunately, when law enforcement did find Taylen, he was found in the mouth of an alligator. So upon discovering Taylen's body in this alligator, they shot and killed the alligator. Now at this point, it is unclear as to whether Taylen suffered his demise because of the alligator or if he was deceased prior to landing in the alligator's mouth. Either way, it is a horrific way to go. And still, what bothers me the most is that he was 2 years old. 2 years old. He didn't even get to experience life. And this is how he leaves the earth. So in any case, the alligator in which Taylen was found in was in a lake that was approximately 10 miles away from where him and his mother Pashun resided. So you guys, I was compelled to get some footage of the lake and just kind of like put myself in the shoes of Thomas Mosely, because I just cannot fathom how a parent could take their child out into a gator infested lake and throw him in there. So this is where the GPS brought me, was to this narrow street, but look what we found literally within 3 minutes of showing up. Oh no, he got the turtle. Isn't that crazy? The fact that within minutes of showing up on that street, we were able to see a gator. And what's even crazier is that as soon as we found the gator, he had gone under the water and came back up and all of a sudden had a turtle in his mouth. Now imagine if that turtle was Taylen, because that's how they found Taylen, was in the mouth of a gator. There is no sympathy that I could ever have for a human being to do something like that to a child. So in any case, we're just like, what the hell? Maybe he didn't do it over here because, again, the area didn't look deep enough to throw a child in. So we decided to come to the other side of the lake, which is at the park. And at this particular pier is where we believe, as in me and my cousin, because he wanted to tag along, is where he disposed of Taylen, because, again, the waters are a bit deeper over here. And I believe he obviously knew that it was gator infested, because there are even signs on the park that say do not hunt the alligators. Now, mind you, I have been working on this video here and there all throughout May, in between life, working, and so on and so forth. So some of the things that I say later on in the video are prior to me coming out to the park. So now, knowing what I know, chances are he's not going to do what I say he's going to do later on, because who would risk getting eaten by an alligator to drown their kid when they could just take the cowardly way out and toss him in a deeper end of the lake and let the gators handle that? On top of that, the initial point where the GPS took us, directly on the opposite side of that street were houses. So chances are he did not want to be spotted physically throwing his son in the water and his son possibly surviving and someone witnessing all of that. So more than likely he could have tossed Taylen anywhere along that strip that you just saw right now, or in the pier, which is the clip you saw before here. So, and there's even a sign coming up where you will see that it says, do not hunt or something alligators. So people know that this place is heavily infested with gators. And just standing in the area was already eerie enough, and even kind of scary, because you don't know what is in that water right by your foot, just a couple feet away. And as a full-grown adult, if I'm scared, imagine how Taylen felt, who was forced into the water by being thrown in by his father. So again, I just wanted to include these clips because I wanted y'all to understand what Taylen Mosley's last moments were like before he was found in the mouth of that gator. So law enforcement continued looking into Taylen's dad as the culprit of the homicides, and later he was actually convicted of 2 counts of homicide. Obviously one for Taylen and the other one for his mother Pashun. Hey y'all, so I just had a couple of corrections that I wanted to make regarding the last couple of things I said. I had misspoke and said that he was convicted already, but he's actually only been charged. He doesn't go to trial until this month, May. So hopefully pretty soon we should know what the verdict will be on that and how much time he'll get. Now later, he was actually discovered at a hospital around the time that Taylen had gone missing, which obviously if he was at a hospital, he had already committed the crimes that he committed, allegedly. And we could assume this because he had cuts and scrapes going all up and down his arms. So it doesn't really take a genius to connect the dots. So when questioned, Thomas Mosley adamantly refused to talk to law enforcement and immediately lawyered up. So since then, I have been trying to follow this case to see if there have been any updates. Now, at the time that I gathered all of this information, it was probably mid-April. So now we are here in May. Today is May 2nd. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but in any case, I decided to do another check just to see if any new details have been released. And so there was a little bit, however, there's still a lot of questions. And some of that information included the reason behind why Taylen's father went crazy was over a surprise birthday party. So apparently Pashun was trying to do something nice for her man. I'm assuming that they were together at the time all of this happened, and she threw him a surprise party. Now, I don't know about you, but if someone throws a surprise party for you for your birthday, how are you reacting? Are you happy that someone cared enough about you to organize that and that people loved you enough to show up? Or are you going to go on a killing spree? Because why is he going on a rampage? Now, I don't know if maybe something happened at the birthday party that led to the rampage, but I mean, whatever it was, it definitely was not worth taking the lives of your family. This is literally his family, your girlfriend, baby mama, and your son, your own flesh and blood. Like, that's wild, completely wild. Now, another update is that the coroner came out and stated that Taylen actually drowned. So chances are his father probably threw him in that lake and Taylen didn't know how to swim and so he drowned. Or there is a chance that the alligator got Taylen as soon as he was thrown in the lake and then he drowned because the alligator pulled him under. I mean, there's no way to really say it. I mean, it was horrible either way. Whether he drowned on his own or he drowned at the hands of an alligator, it's still horrendous. Now, I do have another theory that I didn't think about at the time of recording, but I also believe there's a chance that Taylen's dad, Thomas, could have also held Taylen underwater long enough until his body was lifeless, and then either A, left him on the shore with the hopes that the gators got him if he knew the waters were gator infested, or B, he drowned him, still held him underwater until he was lifeless, and then tossed him further into the lake with the hopes of the alligator eating Taylen so that there would be no evidence of Taylen's existence. A lot of times these criminals, they hear about certain details from other cases and how people have been getting acquitted because there's no quote unquote body, so there's no crime. And in this case, I think he may have been trying to limit his charges because Pashun was definitely laying dead in her house. But if he could get rid of Taylen, then he would only get charged for the one murder instead of two. So there's a good chance that this is the reason why he threw Taylen into this gator-infested lake 10 miles away from their home. So again, these are just theories as to how I think Thomas allegedly ended Taylen's life. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'm also very interested in how he was even triggered. Like, was it the actual birthday party? Did they get into it prior and then, try to put on for the people and then continued after the party? Because, a lot of times when couples get into disagreements, but you got other people already coming and on the way, you got to save face and just put your problems to the side to enjoy the company of others and just do what you got to do. And then you get right back to that problem afterwards. So there's a good chance that could be a possibility as to what happened, but at this point no one really knows as of yet. So I guess only time will tell if ever he comes clean about what exactly happened and if that's even the truth. Hopefully there are some other people, witnesses, who could also shed some light as to what may have caused Thomas to want to wipe out his entire family. Not that it would justify any reason for doing this, but at least give some clarity as to what happened. And so I hope that Thomas Mosley gets everything he deserves. I know once they hear about what he did in jail, once he gets up in that prison, it's over for him. It's over for him. So he's supposed to be going on trial this month in May. So I will try to follow up with that and give you guys an update. But if you guys happen to get updates before I come on here, you're more than welcome to post them down in the comment section. Now, as far as Pashun and Taylen goes, I just want to send condolences to the family and friends of anyone who knew them. A lot of people stated that Pashun was all about Taylen. She loved him to the moon and back, and any chance she got, she was always around him. They said that even when she was at work and she'd be on her breaks, she would take that time to FaceTime Taylen because she just didn't want to miss a second of being around him. Like, that's how much she cared about him, and that's how much he adored her. So that will do it for today's dose of true crime. If y'all have a case you would like me to talk about, you can leave it in the comment section, or you can send me an email, which is down in the description box. Anyways, you guys stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.